Rion was a human warrior known for his courage and skill. He had traveled to countless worlds, faced dangers no one else dared face, and survived situations that would have broken ordinary people. Yet nothing in his life had prepared him for the mission on the planet Zephyra. The planet was wild, with towering forests of glowing trees and rivers of liquid crystal that sparkled under a violet sun. Strange creatures moved in the shadows, and the wind carried whispers that made humans uneasy. Rion's team had been sent to Zephyra to explore ruins left by an ancient alien civilization. No one had returned from this mission before. Rion, however, believed he could handle anything. He walked ahead of the others, his armor shining softly in the sunlight, his senses alert. Suddenly he heard a scream, sharp and desperate. It was not human. He ran toward the sound, moving past trees that seemed to pulse like living things. He stumbled into a clearing and froze. There in the center lay a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. It was a young alien woman. Her skin shimmered with faint patterns like stars reflected on water. Her eyes were large and bright, but they were dull now, filled with pain. Her body was injured and her breathing was shallow. Around her, pieces of a collapsed structure littered the ground. She had been trapped and time was running out. Rion rushed to her side. "I am Rion," he said, kneeling down. "I will help you." The alien tried to speak, but her voice was weak. He could feel the life slipping from her. Rion's mind raced. The human medical kit he carried was limited, and the alien healing devices they had brought with them were useless for her. Her species was unique, and no human knowledge could fix her injuries. Rion had a choice. Leave her to die or try something no one had ever attempted. His heart pounded, but he made the decision. "I will help you," he said softly, "even if it is impossible." He opened a small container of human blood designed for emergencies. He knew the risks. Alien biology was different from human biology. The transfusion could kill her or even harm him. But he could not stand by while she died. Carefully, he connected the device to her arm. The blood began to flow slowly. For a moment, nothing happened. Rion held his breath. Then he saw a flicker in her chest, a tiny, irregular beat that steadied. Her eyes fluttered open, and she looked at him with confusion and gratitude. I feel better," she whispered, her voice trembling. Rion smiled. "You are stronger now. You will survive." The alien princess's strength returned quickly, and Rion watched in awe as color returned to her skin. The patterns on her body seemed to glow brighter. She was healing in a way no human or alien science could explain. "Your blood," she said, her voice gaining strength. "It saved me." Rion shook his head. "No, your courage saved you. I just gave a little help." She tried to rise, but her legs were still weak. Rion lifted her gently and carried her through the forest, careful of every step. She clung to him, still weak but alive. Around them, the forest seemed to watch silently. The strange creatures peeked from behind trees, curious but cautious. When they reached a safe clearing, Rion laid her down on a soft patch of moss. He looked around. The ruins they had been sent to explore were dangerous, and more of the structure could collapse at any moment. He needed to get her to safety. "I need to take you to the city," he said. "You will be safe there." The alien princess nodded weakly. "City, yes. My people, I must return." Rion felt a sudden respect for her. She was a princess, the heir to her civilization, and yet she fought to survive with a strength that went beyond titles or power. He understood then that she was not just a leader but a symbol of hope. As they moved through the forest, Rion noticed something strange. The bond between them felt real. Not just because he had given her blood, but something deeper connected them. He could sense her fear, her relief, even her thoughts in a faint way. It was as if their minds were touching. "Rion," she said softly, "why? Would you risk yourself for me?" He smiled. "Because it was the right thing to do. No one should die if I can help them, especially not someone who is meant to protect others." She looked at him, studying his face. There was no arrogance there, no desire for glory, only honesty and courage. For the first time since she had been injured, she felt safe. Hours passed as they navigated through the alien forest. Strange creatures watched them from the shadows, but none dared approach. Rion's instincts kept them safe. Every step was a test, but he did not falter. The bond between him and the princess grew stronger with every moment. He began to understand her language, not just the words, but the meaning behind them, the emotions. Finally, they reached the edge of the forest. Beyond lay the alien city, a place of towering spires and shimmering lights. The guards saw them and rushed forward, unsure whether to attack or help. When they saw the princess, their expressions changed from suspicion to awe. "She lives," one of the guards asked. "She is alive," Rion said firmly. "I helped her." The guards hesitated, unsure of what to do with the human who had dared to intervene. Then the princess spoke, her voice now strong and commanding despite her injuries. "This human saved my life," she said. "He is my ally." The guards bowed deeply. Ryan felt a mixture of pride and relief. He had done the right thing, but he knew the journey was not over. Healing her was only the beginning. Inside the palace, the alien council gathered. They looked at Ryan with suspicion. Humans were unpredictable, often seen as reckless and dangerous, but when they saw the princess alive, recovering faster than any medicine could explain, their skepticism turned to curiosity. "How did this happen?" one council member demanded. Ryan stepped forward. "I donated my blood to her. It was the only way to save her." The council gasped. According to their knowledge, a human blood transfusion to an alien could not work. It was considered impossible. Yet here she was, alive and recovering. The princess looked at Ryan with gratitude. "He risked his life for me. My people may not understand, but I do." Ryan felt a strange warmth in his chest. It was not just pride. It was something deeper. The bond between him and the princess had grown into something that could not be measured by science or reason. Over the next few days, Ryan stayed by her side. He watched as she healed rapidly, her strength returning beyond expectations. She began to walk on her own, and soon she was moving with a grace and power that astonished everyone. The council members whispered among themselves. Some were impressed, others were wary. A human had defied their knowledge, changed the fate of their princess, and created a bond that no one could understand. One night, as the princess looked out over the city from her balcony, Ryan joined her. The stars of Zephyr shone brightly above, reflecting the hope that had returned to the planet. "Ryan," she said, "I feel different, stronger, but also connected to you in a way I do not understand." He nodded. "The bond we share is unusual, but it is real, and it will guide us through the challenges ahead." She turned to him, her eyes shining. "I owe you my life, not just for saving me, but for believing in me when even my people doubted." Ryan smiled. "Then we will face the future together. Whatever comes, we will be ready." The night passed quietly, but the world around them was changing. Forces beyond their understanding were stirring. The alien princess was alive, stronger than ever, and a human warrior had become a part of her story. Together they would face dangers that no one could predict, challenges that would test their courage and bond. And somewhere deep inside, Ryan knew that what had begun with a simple act of courage, the donation of his blood, was only the start of a journey that would defy logic, challenge the universe, and reveal the true strength of humanity. The days after the transfusion passed quickly, yet each one felt heavier than the last. Ryan stayed close to the alien princess, whose name he now knew was Nara. She had regained her strength faster than anyone expected. The glow of her skin had returned, brighter than before, and a faint warmth radiated from her presence that seemed to settle Ryan's restless mind. The palace was magnificent, full of floating platforms, crystal halls, and walls that shimmered with light. Nara's people, the Zephyrians, were wary of humans. They had studied the stars for centuries and had encountered many species, but humans were known for unpredictability. Still, seeing Ryan at her side, refusing to leave her, had sparked both curiosity and unease among the council. "Are you sure he is safe to remain here?" one council member asked another during a gathering. "He saved her life," the other replied. "No one else could have done what he did. That cannot be denied." Ryan, unaware of the council's quiet debates, focused entirely on Nara. She was no longer weak, yet the transfusion had left its mark. Occasionally he would notice subtle changes. She would flinch when he moved quickly, but sometimes she seemed to anticipate his actions before he even made them. One morning, Nara approached Ryan while he trained with wooden sparring sticks. He was practicing for the unpredictable dangers of Zephyr, but she watched him with an intensity that made his heart beat faster. "You move differently than before," she said. Her voice was clear and commanding, but her eyes held curiosity. Ryan lowered his stick. "Different how?" "You anticipate the attacks before they come. It is as if you know my thoughts, my movements." "It feels strange." Ryan frowned. "It is not strange. I am just experienced. That is all." Nara shook her head, smiling softly. No, it is more than that. I can feel your intentions. Sometimes even your emotions. Ryan paused, realizing she was not exaggerating. The bond formed during the transfusion had not faded. It had grown. Every time their hands touched, every time they moved together, a connection sparked, one he could neither explain nor ignore. Over the next week, Nara tested her new strength. She practiced simple movements at first, running, jumping, and lifting objects twice her original weight. Ryan guided her, teaching her balance and precision. She learned quickly, often faster than he expected, and their cooperation became almost seamless. One afternoon, as the twin suns of Zephyra set in brilliant shades of gold and violet, Nara approached him with an unusual expression. Rion, I feel. Different inside. My mind and body. They are not just mine. Sometimes I feel yours too. Ryan studied her carefully. The transfusion, it did more than save your life. It connected us, but we must be careful. Others may not understand this bond. Nara's eyes grew serious. I do not care what others think. I know it is real. I feel your thoughts, your heart, even your fear. It is as if we share one life. Ryan was silent for a moment, realizing the truth in her words. The bond was not only physical, it was emotional and mental. Every decision they made could affect the other. He had never experienced anything like it. Meanwhile, the Alien Council continued to watch. They were impressed by Nara's rapid recovery, but confused by the human influence on her abilities. Some council members whispered warnings, suggesting the human might be manipulating her. Others saw the potential for something extraordinary, a chance to strengthen their civilization through this bond. One evening, Ryan and Nara were walking through the palace gardens. Strange flowers glowed softly in the moonlight, and the air carried a scent unfamiliar to humans, but comforting to Zephyrians. Rion, Nara said quietly. Why do you stay with me? You could leave, return to your own people. No one would blame you. Ryan looked at her, surprised by the question. I stay because I promised I would. You trusted me with your life. That is enough reason. But there is more. I feel responsible for you. And not just for saving your life. I feel that we are meant to face this together. Nara considered his words, her eyes reflecting the stars above. Then we will face it together, she said firmly. Whatever comes. Their bond deepened further when a sudden alarm sounded through the city. Ryan's instincts immediately went on high alert. Nara stiffened beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon. They are coming, she whispered. Who? Ryan asked, already moving toward the palace gates. Rebels from the outer regions. They do not trust my people. They see my power as a threat, Nara explained. The guards rushed forward, ready for combat. Ryan and Nara stood side by side. She felt his presence, his focus, his fear, and he felt hers. Together they were no longer separate individuals, but a coordinated force. The rebels arrived in small craft, landing outside the city walls. Ryan observed their movements and quickly formulated a plan. Nara followed his lead instinctively, responding faster than words could guide her. She blocked attacks, deflected weapons, and moved with a strength that stunned both her people and the invaders. Ryan realized that their bond gave them an advantage no one had predicted. They could anticipate each other's moves, predict attacks, and react with perfect timing. The rebels were strong, but they could not match this coordination. After the battle ended, Nara stood tall, breathing heavily but victorious. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder, feeling her pulse. They had faced danger together, and their trust had never been stronger. You are remarkable, Ryan said. Stronger than anyone I have ever fought beside. Nara smiled, a mix of exhaustion and pride on her face. And you? You saved me. Not just with your blood, but with your courage. I never imagined a human could be so selfless. Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. Selfless, perhaps. Or perhaps it is because I believe in what is right. What matters is that we survived. That you survived. In the days that followed, whispers spread throughout the city. People spoke of the human warrior and the alien princess who moved as one, whose bond defied logic. Some were inspired, others skeptical. Yet all who witnessed their cooperation could not deny its power. One evening, Nara and Ryan were in a quiet chamber, overlooking the city from a balcony. The twin moons of Zephyra rose in the sky, casting silver light across the spires and crystal streets below. Rion, Nara said softly, I feel as if our lives are now linked. Not just in battle, but in everything. What does this mean for us? Rian considered her question. It means we must trust each other completely. Our bond is rare and it is powerful, but it also makes us vulnerable. We will face challenges, not just from outside, but from those who do not understand us. Nara reached out and placed her hand over his. I do not care what others think. I trust you, and I know you trust me. Rian nodded, a sense of certainty settling over him. Then we face everything together. The future is uncertain, but as long as we stand side by side, I know we can overcome anything. The city below was peaceful for now, but Rian knew that this calm was temporary. Threats would come, both from within and beyond Zephyra. The bond they shared, born of courage and blood, was extraordinary, but it would be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. As the night deepened, Rian and Nara stood together, feeling the connection that had grown between them. It was more than a bond of survival. It was trust, understanding, and a recognition of each other's strength. In the quiet of the alien city, they began to realize that their journey was only beginning, and somewhere in the vastness of space, unseen eyes watched the energy radiating from Nara and Rian. Forces beyond Zephyra sensed the unusual connection and moved closer, drawn by the bond that defied logic and challenged the natural order. Rian tightened his grip on Nara's hand. Whatever comes, he said, we face it together. Nara nodded, her eyes shining with determination. Together. The bond between human and alien had grown stronger, deeper, and more mysterious. It was no longer just an act of courage. It was a connection that would shape the destiny of two worlds. The days following Nara's recovery were filled with training, strategy, and cautious observation. Rian and Nara had grown closer, their bond strengthening with every shared experience. Yet outside the palace walls, tension simmered. Not all of the Zephyrians trusted the sudden changes in their princess. Some whispered that the human warrior had altered her in ways no one could fully understand. Others feared what outsiders might do if they discovered her new strength. Rian noticed the unease. He knew their connection was unusual, but he also understood the power it offered. The bond allowed them to anticipate each other's actions, coordinate movements without words, and share instinctive understanding in ways no training could achieve. Yet he remained cautious. Humans had learned that great power often attracted great danger. One morning, Rian found Nara practicing in the palace courtyard. She moved with grace and precision, lifting weights that once would have been impossible for her. Her skin glowed faintly with the energy of the bond, and her eyes shone with determination. You are improving every day, Rion said, watching her carefully. Your strength is extraordinary, but control is just as important as power. Nara paused and looked at him. I can feel it when you are near, she said. I know your intentions before you act. It helps me anticipate movements even in combat. Rian nodded. It is not just physical. The bond is part of us now. We must learn to use it wisely. Their training was interrupted by a warning alarm. A scout reported a group of hostile forces approaching from the outer territories. These rebels did not trust Nara or her people. They believed her strength was unnatural, a threat to their own ambitions. Rian and Nara exchanged a glance, understanding that they would face their first real test together outside the city. The rebels arrived on hovercrafts, landing near the palace gates. They were armed with advanced energy weapons, and their movements suggested they had studied the city's defenses. Rian immediately assessed the situation, noticing weaknesses in their formation that they could exploit. Stay close to me, he instructed Nara. We move together. Trust the bond. Nara nodded, her hand brushing against his. The connection pulsed between them, providing an unspoken synchronization. They moved like shadows, their steps silent, their timing perfect. The rebels were taken by surprise as Nara intercepted their first attack with incredible speed, while Rion countered from behind, using both human tactics and instinctive coordination. The battle raged through the outer courtyard with energy blasts igniting the air. Rian noticed that the bond allowed Nara to react faster than any ordinary soldier. She could anticipate the enemy's strikes before they fully executed them, and her strength made her nearly unstoppable. Together they fought as a single unit, moving fluidly, covering each other's vulnerabilities. The rebels regrouped, attempting a flanking maneuver. Rian whispered instructions to Nara, but she did not need them. The bond had already transmitted his intention, and she moved in perfect alignment with him, neutralizing the threat before it could reach the palace walls. The remaining enemies, realizing they were outmatched, retreated into the surrounding forest. After the battle, Nara leaned against a crystal pillar, breathing heavily but smiling. "We did it," she said. "We worked together perfectly." Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Yes, but we must be prepared. This was only a test. Others will come, and not all will retreat." The council members observed from a distance, some impressed, others uneasy. The human warrior had proven himself indispensable, and Nara's abilities were beyond anything their science could explain. Still, the whispers of doubt continued, and some feared that the bond was a sign of something uncontrollable. In the following days, Rian and Nara focused on strengthening their skills. Ryan taught her human combat techniques, emphasizing strategy, improvisation, and situational awareness. Nara shared her alien abilities, showing him how to manipulate energy fields and sense danger in ways beyond human perception. Together they trained in forests, ruins, and the palace's high towers, constantly testing the limits of their connection. One evening, while resting on a balcony overlooking the city, Nara spoke quietly. "Ryan, I feel as if our bond is not just about fighting. It connects us in ways I do not fully understand. I sense your thoughts, your feelings, even when we are apart." Ryan looked at her, his expression serious. "It is more than a bond of life. It is a link of trust, understanding, and instinct. We must learn to control it. If others discover the depth of this connection, they may see it as a threat." Nara nodded. "I understand. But I also feel that it gives us strength beyond what we could achieve alone. Perhaps it is meant to guide us, to prepare us for something greater." Rian agreed silently, sensing the truth in her words. The bond had already saved her life and allowed them to fight as one. He knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, relying on each other's instincts and courage. Their training was soon interrupted by a messenger from a neighboring system. A distant fleet had detected unusual energy signatures from Zephyra, the same energy that emanated from Nara and Ryan's bond. The fleet was heading toward the planet, drawn by curiosity and ambition. They did not know whether the energy was dangerous, but they intended to investigate. The council held an emergency meeting. Some suggested sending envoys to negotiate with the approaching fleet, while others feared confrontation. Nara spoke, her voice calm but firm. "We will not allow outsiders to interfere with our people, but we will not act recklessly. Ryan and I will face this together." Ryan felt the bond strengthen as she spoke. It was as if her determination and courage flowed into him, giving him clarity and resolve. He knew that their opponents would be formidable, but together, they were stronger than any conventional force. The days passed with preparation. Ryan and Nara studied the terrain, designed strategies, and trained relentlessly. The bond between them allowed for intuitive planning, anticipating enemy moves before they occurred. Nara's alien abilities, combined with Ryan's human ingenuity, created tactics no outsider could predict. Then, one night, a strange phenomenon occurred. The energy of their bond amplified unexpectedly, sending ripples through the city. The citizens felt it, a pulse of power that resonated with awe and fear. The council members rushed to Nara's side, but even they could not explain what had happened. The bond was no longer just a connection between two beings. It was a force that affected the environment itself. Ryan approached her, sensing the intensity of the energy. "Nara, this is new. I can feel it too. The bond. It is growing stronger. We must control it." Nara placed a hand on his arm, feeling the pulse of connection. "I know. I feel it, Ryan. It is as if we are more than ourselves when we are together. But we must be careful. The outside forces will sense this." "They will come," Rion nodded. "Then we will be ready. Whatever comes, we face it together." As the sons of Zephyr arose the next morning, scouts reported movement near the city borders. The distant fleet was approaching faster than anticipated. Ryan and Nara prepared to meet them, their minds synchronized, their bodies ready. The bond between them had grown beyond explanation, creating a unity that was both powerful and fragile. In the quiet moments before the impending confrontation, Ryan reflected on their journey so far. The transfusion that had saved Nara's life was no longer a simple act of courage. It had created a connection that defied logic, a bond that could change the fate of worlds. Together they were not just a warrior and a princess. They were a force that could inspire hope, challenge enemies, and defy the expectations of all who underestimated them. Nara stood beside him, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Ryan, whatever happens, we will face it together," she said. Ryan placed his hand over hers. "Together," he agreed. The bond between human and alien had grown stronger with each passing day. It was no longer just a link of survival. It was a connection of trust, understanding, and shared purpose. And as the forces approaching Zephyra drew nearer, it would be tested in ways neither of them could yet imagine. The future was uncertain, but Ryan and Nara knew one thing for certain. As long as they faced it together, there was no challenge too great, no danger too overwhelming, and no enemy too powerful. Their bond, born of courage, blood, and trust, would guide them through the trials to come. The city of Zephyra was still and quiet after the flurry of battles and training. Ryan and Nara spent their days preparing for the unknown threat that approached from distant space. The bond between them had grown stronger with each passing day, but they both felt a pull toward something deeper, a mystery connected to Nara's people, and the unusual energy that now flowed between them. One afternoon, Nara approached Ryan with a serious expression. "There is something I must show you," she said. "It is in the ancient ruins beneath the city. My people have avoided these places for centuries, but I believe it holds answers about the bond between us." Ryan nodded. "Then we go together. I trust your instincts." They descended through narrow passages beneath the city, past walls etched with symbols older than anyone alive. The air was cool, carrying a faint hum that vibrated through the bones. As they entered the main chamber, the space opened into a vast hall filled with glowing crystals and alien machinery. In the center was a large circular platform, engraved with runes that pulsed softly with light. "This place," Nara whispered, awe in her voice. "It is sacred. Few have been here since the prophecy was written." Ryan studied the symbols, recognizing patterns but unable to fully understand them. "Prophecy?" he asked. Nara nodded. "Long ago, the elders wrote that a human and a Zephyrian would unite to save our worlds. They said the bond would combine strength, courage, and wisdom in ways no one could predict. I never believed it could happen, until now." Ryan looked at her, feeling the intensity of her words. "You mean us?" "Yes," Nara said softly. "Our bond is what the prophecy spoke of. The transfusion, the connection we share, it is not an accident. It is meant to happen." Ryan absorbed the revelation. It explained much about the sudden growth in her strength, the way their instincts seemed intertwined, and the strange energy that pulsed from their connection. It also meant their bond was not just personal, it was tied to the fate of Zephyra itself. They explored the chamber, examining the glowing crystals. Each crystal seemed to react to their presence, especially when they stood close together. The light intensified, spreading warmth and energy throughout the hall. Ryan realized that the bond amplified more than their strength. It affected the environment itself. Nara touched one of the crystals, and it projected images into the air. Ancient Zephyrians appeared, showing scenes of humans and Zephyrians working together, fighting dangers from distant galaxies and overcoming impossible odds. The images depicted humans donating blood to save Zephyrian lives, just as Ryan had done. "It has happened before," Nara said, awe in her voice. "Humans and Zephyrians have been connected for centuries, but the knowledge was lost. The prophecy predicted a human and a princess would appear again, stronger than ever, to unite our people." Ryan felt a mix of humility and responsibility. "Then our bond is more than survival. It is a purpose, yes," Nara said, "and we must honor it. But it will not be easy. There are those who fear change, who will see our connection as dangerous. We must be ready for opposition, from outside forces and even from within." As they studied the ruins, Ryan and Nara discovered more than just history. They found ancient devices designed to enhance the human-Zephyrian bond. The machines amplified energy, strength, and awareness, but they also required complete trust between the two individuals. Ryan and Nara realized that their bond had already unlocked part of the potential, and these devices could enhance it further. "Do you think we should use them?" Ryan asked. Nara nodded slowly. "If we are to protect our people and face the challenges ahead, we must. But we must do it carefully. The bond can be powerful, but it can also be dangerous if misused." They activated one of the devices. Light surrounded them, and a surge of energy passed through their bodies. Ryan could feel Nara's thoughts, emotions, and instincts more clearly than ever. Nara sensed his confidence, his strategic thinking, and his determination to protect her at all costs. Together, they became more aware of the environment, predicting movements and sensing threats long before they appeared. After the initial surge, they collapsed onto the platform, exhausted but exhilarated. "This is incredible," Nara whispered. "I can feel everything you feel. It is like we are two parts of one mind." Rian nodded, breathing heavily. "We must remember this power comes with responsibility. We are stronger now, but the galaxy will notice, and not everyone will be friendly." Nara's expression grew serious. "Yes, forces from distant systems are already drawn to the energy we produce. We are no longer hidden. They will come for us or they will try to control us. We must be prepared." Ryan placed a hand on hers. "Then we prepare together. Whatever comes, we face it as one." They spent the following days mastering the enhanced bond. Their movements became fluid, almost instinctive. They could anticipate each other's actions with perfect accuracy. Nara's strength increased further, and Ryan's strategies became sharper, more precise. Together they were becoming a force that no ordinary army could challenge, but the council remained divided. Some members were impressed and hopeful, believing that this union could save their civilization. Others were suspicious, fearing that the bond was unnatural and dangerous. Some whispered that humans could never be trusted, and that Ryan might use the power for his own purposes. Nara sensed the growing tension. "Rion, we cannot ignore their doubts. We must show them that our bond is for the good of all, not for ourselves," Ryan agreed. "We will act wisely and we will protect them. The prophecy is not just about us, it is about Zephyra and all who live here." Just as they prepared for the council meeting, scouts reported the approach of a fleet from a distant galaxy. They had detected the energy emanating from the enhanced bond and were moving quickly toward Zephyra. The fleet was large, advanced, and unknown. The council members grew anxious, realizing that Nara and Ryan's power had attracted attention beyond the planet. Nara turned to Ryan, determination in her eyes. "This is the test we were meant for. We cannot fail. Our bond must guide us," Ryan nodded. "Then we face them together. The prophecy brought us this far, and we will continue to honor it." As the fleet drew closer, the city prepared for the confrontation. Nara and Ryan stood on the palace balcony, feeling the energy of their bond resonate throughout the city. Citizens looked up in awe, sensing the power that connected them. The bond was no longer just a link between two beings. It had become a symbol of hope, courage, and unity for all of Zephyra. Ryan turned to Nara. "Whatever happens, we fight as one. Our strength is not just in our bodies, but in the trust and understanding we share." Nara smiled, her eyes glowing with confidence. "Together we are unstoppable, and together we will protect our people and our world." The ancient prophecy, the bond between human and Zephyrian, and the strength of their connection, had all led to this moment. The galaxy was about to take notice, and the true test of their power and unity was only beginning. As the twin suns set behind the mountains, Rian and Nara felt a deep certainty. Their bond, born of courage, blood, and trust, was more than a connection. It was a force that could change the fate of worlds. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the approaching fleet sensed it. The energy was unlike anything they had encountered, powerful and unpredictable. They were drawn to Zephyra, unaware that the bond between human and princess would define the outcome of the coming confrontation. Rion tightened his grip on Nara's hand. "The time is coming," he said. "We will face it together." Nara nodded, her voice steady and strong. Together. The revelation of the prophecy and the secrets of the ancient ruins had changed everything. Their journey was no longer just about survival or training. It was about destiny, courage, and the future of two civilizations. The true challenges lay ahead, and the bond between Rian and Nara would be tested as never before. The city of Zephyra was quiet, yet a tension hung in the air that could be felt even by those who walked unaware of the approaching danger. From the skies above, a fleet of alien ships appeared, their metal hulls gleaming against the twin suns. They were unfamiliar, their weapons advanced and intimidating. The citizens of Zephyra watched from their homes, fear mixed with awe as the energy radiating from Nara and Ryan pulsed like a warning beacon. Rion stood beside Nara on the highest balcony of the palace. The bond between them had grown stronger than ever. It was no longer just a connection of survival. It was a force that synchronized their thoughts, instincts, and actions. Nara's strength, enhanced by the ancient devices, glowed faintly under her skin, and Ryan could feel her resolve as clearly as if it were his own. "They are here," Nara said, her voice steady. "They do not know what they face." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "Then we show them." The fleet hovered above the city, sending a smaller group of scout ships to test the defenses. Ryan and Nara moved down to the ground, their presence commanding attention. Citizens gathered at the city square, watching the two prepare for the confrontation. The council had given their consent, placing full trust in the bond that had already proven extraordinary. The first scouts attacked, firing energy beams toward the palace. Rion and Nara moved as one. She intercepted the beams, redirecting the energy with her alien abilities, while Ryan calculated the scouts' paths and struck with precision. Each move was perfectly coordinated, each response instinctive. The scouts faltered, unable to predict the flow of their combined actions. "Keep moving," Ryan shouted, dodging a beam while signaling Nara to flank. She leapt gracefully, her strength allowing her to move faster than any human or Zephyrian could normally manage. Together they neutralized the scouts, sending them crashing into the ground. The citizens cheered, but Ryan knew the real threat had yet to arrive. Above, the main fleet prepared to descend. Their ships released smaller fighters that swarmed toward the city. Ryan and Nara stood side by side, their bond intensifying. He could feel her anticipation, her strategy forming in tandem with his own. The connection between them was almost tangible, like two minds acting as one. The first wave of fighters descended, firing powerful energy weapons. Ryan guided Nara, though their communication required no words. Her movements mirrored his intentions, her strikes precise and devastating. Each enemy ship was met with a combination of alien strength and human ingenuity, leaving the fleet struggling to adapt. Rion realized that their bond gave them an advantage no conventional force could counter. Nara's alien abilities, enhanced by the ancient devices combined with his tactical thinking and human creativity, created a form of combat neither side had ever seen. They moved fluidly, almost as if guided by a single consciousness. The battle escalated. The fleet sent larger ships to the city's borders, firing massive energy blasts. Ryan and Nara coordinated defenses, moving faster than anyone could track. Citizens who had taken refuge watched in awe as their leaders fought with a unity that seemed impossible. The bond amplified their abilities, making each strike stronger, each move more precise. Amid the chaos, Nara felt a surge of energy from the bond. She reached out mentally, connecting with Rion, sharing her focus and strength. Ryan responded instinctively, their minds intertwined. Together, they created a shield of energy that deflected the fleet's blasts, protecting the city and its people. The alien fleet, sensing the power of their bond, hesitated. Their technology had never encountered a force like this. Ryan noticed the pause and seized the moment. He led Nara in a coordinated strike against the fleet's central ship. Using both human tactics and alien abilities, they disabled the ship's engines, causing confusion among the remaining attackers. One by one, the fleet's ships fell, unable to overcome the combined strength and coordination of Ryan and Nara. The energy of their bond spread across the battlefield, inspiring the Zephyrians to join in the defense. Citizens and warriors alike rallied, fighting with renewed courage. The attackers, realizing they were outmatched, retreated into space, leaving Zephyra safe once more. The city erupted in celebration. Citizens cheered for their princess and the human warrior who had saved them. Ryan and Nara stood together overlooking the square, their bond glowing faintly, a visible sign of their unity and strength. The council approached, bowing in respect. "Princess Nara Ryan," one elder said, "your courage and bond have saved our people. We owe you more than words can express." Nara turned to Rion, her eyes shining with gratitude. "He saved me, yes, but together we saved our world. Our bond is more than strength, it is hope." Ryan smiled, placing a hand gently on hers. "It is our bond, yes, but it is also the courage of your people and the trust we share. That is what truly made the difference." The council nodded, realizing the truth. The prophecy had not only predicted their union, but had also shown that human courage and ingenuity, combined with Zephyrian strength, could overcome the greatest challenges. In the days that followed, Ryan and Nara worked to rebuild the city and strengthen alliances. Their bond continued to grow both in power and understanding. They trained the citizens, shared strategies, and prepared for any future threats. The city, once wary of humans, now saw them as equals, united by courage and trust. One evening, as the twin moons of Zephyr rose in the sky, Ryan and Nara stood on a cliff overlooking the city. The streets glowed softly with lights, and the citizens celebrated their survival and newfound unity. "We did it," Nara said quietly. "The prophecy, the bond, our courage, it all came together." Ryan looked at her, feeling the strength and warmth of their connection. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. Our bond has shown what humans and Zephyrians can achieve together. We can face anything as long as we stand side by side." Nara smiled, a sense of peace and determination in her eyes. "Together, we will continue to protect our people and our world. The galaxy will see the strength of unity, courage, and trust." Rian nodded. "And humanity will always rise to the challenge. We have proven that even the impossible can be overcome with courage, strategy, and heart." The twin moons reflected their light on the two figures standing together. Citizens below watched, inspired by the display of unity and strength. The bond between human and alien was no longer a secret. It was a symbol of hope and resilience for all. From that moment on, the story of Ryan and Nara became legend. Humans and Zephyrians worked together, sharing knowledge, culture, and courage. Their bond defied logic and expectations, proving that even across different worlds, understanding, trust, and bravery could create something extraordinary. Rion and Nara knew the universe was vast and challenges would come again. But they also knew that their bond could overcome any obstacle. The human warrior and the alien princess had faced the impossible, and in doing so, had created a legacy that would inspire generations. As they stood together, hands joined and hearts connected, they felt a certainty that nothing could break. Their bond had changed the fate of a planet, united civilizations, and shown that courage and trust could triumph over fear and uncertainty. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a human and an alien who defied all odds. Their story would be told for centuries, a testament to humanity's strength, ingenuity, and the power of unity. Ryan looked at Nara, and she looked at him. No words were needed. Their bond said it all. Together they were unstoppable, together they had changed the universe, and together they would continue to protect all that they loved. The sun set behind the mountains, casting a warm glow over the city. The twin moons rose, reflecting the light of hope and courage. Humanity had triumphed not through weapons alone, but through heart, determination, and the extraordinary bond between one human warrior and an alien princess. The story of Ryan and Nara, of courage, trust, and unity, would live forever.